Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Physio Practice Success Show. My name is Chaz Arachi and I'm an ex-physio, multiple practice owner and the founder of physiomarketing.co. So today's topic is the 3 biggest mistakes physio practices make when running Google Ads. Now, just in case you didn't know what Google Ads were, obviously the Google Ads are when you go into Google and you type something that you want, they are typically the top 3 or 4 results that come up along with the bottom of the page as well. Now, Google Ads are a phenomenal way to get in front of new patients in a very, very quick and targeted way, right? It's very effective, very powerful to get new patients very quickly. At the same time, you need to know what you're doing with it to avoid, things like costs, like mistakes, like costs, spending too much on the ads and not getting the ads right from the start. So let me just go through and cover the 3 biggest mistakes that we've seen physio practices make when running Google Ads. The first one is not knowing your numbers, right? Now, what I mean by this is because, as with anything that's business oriented, you need to know the numbers or the unit economics of how you are running a campaign. You need to know what you're spending per unit and you need to know what kind of result you get out of it at the end. Without knowing that, you're really flying blind. Now, if you were to put an example to this, it's like, if a pilot is taking on a A380 and they're not looking at the instrumentals, they don't really know how that plane is performing, right? In a very, very basic sense. So if you're driving a car, you need to know how much fuel is in it, if you're still running a petrol car, or how much charge, what kind of speed you're going, how hot the engine is, all that kind of thing to make sure you get from point A to B the way you want, safely, and all that kind of thing. Just like that, pardon me, just like that, it's very important that you keep an eye on certain numbers to make sure that your Google ad campaign is running the way it should be running, all right? In fact, it is the most important part when you're starting out. It is important because it allows you, firstly, to control the costs. All right, you're just not going to spend money willy-nilly out there. You're doing it and you're spending money on Google Ads in a very controlled, deliberate, specific, intentional way. Right, and it's a good way to minimize losses as well. Once again, if you know how much you're spending, per click, for example, we'll cover a little bit of that in detail a bit later on. But if you know exactly what you're spending, you can minimize losses as well, all right? And just to make sure that, you are not losing money, right, in your Google Ads, what we recommend highly recommend when we work with our clients is that they play with the profits only, all right? Now, what I mean by this is you're not using you're not using the cash that is not profitable or the things you have to come up with your own pocket. You're only playing with the cash that is the cream on top. So really, you're not losing any money. You're just trying to make money from the profits. That's where we start off, all right? If you really want to start off by yourself, right? Unless you are doing these kind of specific things. So the most important thing when starting a Google Ads campaign, knowing the numbers, going to your account and finding out what your profit margins are, what your lifetime value of a client or a new patient is, right? And how often you convert an inquiry into an actual booked appointment. You need to know figures like that, so that way you can trickle down to the amount you need to spend per click. All right, so we can just reverse engineer the whole process and make sure that you're spending the right amount per click to make your campaigns profitable. It's a very, very important one. I'd really recommend that you go speak with your accountant, get figures like what is our profit margins, what is the lifetime value of a new patient when they book in, right? And from your sales and marketing perspective, you need to know how many inquiries that you are converting, all right? If you've got the traditional ways of doing things. All right, you need to know those numbers very clear to make sure that your Google Ads is profitable right from the start. So that's mistake number 1, not knowing numbers. Now, mistake number 2 that physio practices make when running Google Ads is ignoring negative keywords. Pardon me. Now, just in case you didn't know what negative keywords are, just like the keywords you want to appear in front of new patients for, potential new patients for, in Google or Bing especially, right? There are words that you don't want to appear for. For example, let's just say, you have neck pain, all right? And this is a very, broad example, nothing too specific. Let's just say you have neck pain. Now, you want to make sure that you appear, if you say neck pain, you want to make sure you appear for neck pain only, right? And not for a keyword, for example, like neck surgery, right? Unless you're a surgeon and you have a surgeon in play that can deal with that kind of thing, you want to make sure that you do not appear for neck surgery, all right? There are heaps of other keywords like free or cheap or things like that you do not want to appear for, right? It's very, very important, because if you do appear for it, you still have to pay for the click if they click on the actual ad that you put up. That means, you've literally put the ad up in front of somebody that you don't want to target, and worse, you've actually paid for that, all right? We find that this is a massive oversight that physio practices make. They ignore negative keywords. We find that a big, big oversight to physio practices losing quite a chunk of their cash, the money that they're spending on Google Ads. It's a big, big one, right? And how you can avoid this and at least manage it to a better state or better way is regular review of the reports in Google, all right? In Google, if you go to the search term report, you'll be able to find exactly, what the keywords you're appearing for, right? You need to make sure that you siphon through them and pick out the ones you want to appear for, and then see which ones you do not want to appear for. And this needs to be a very regular practice, all right? And you might go, why? Aren't there only a certain number of keywords that we can rank for? Yeah, there is. But every day, Google reports that there are more and more keywords that they are finding that they have never, ever heard before. And, as your new patients are heading more online to find you, these number of keywords is going to increase over time as well. All right, so you need to be on top of it. Regularly have a look at reports to find out what keywords you want to definitely include in your campaigns, and more importantly, which ones you do not want to appear for. It's a very, very important thing. This is something that we are pretty adamant with our clients when we help them out, when we work with them, that we do for them. It's very important that you do as well. So that's reason number 2. Now, reason number 3 is not being specific with ads. Again, this is another big mistake that we find practice owners do. Now, what I mean by not being specific with ads is they tend to put up one-size-fits-all ads, all right? So just to give you a quick idea, what I mean by that is, again, just in case you didn't know, in Google, right, there are, Google is broken down into campaigns, if you want to call it a tier system. Right at the top, you have campaigns. Underneath campaigns, you have ad groups, right? Underneath ad groups, you have ads with keywords together, all right? So I'll run you through that again. So at the top, you have campaigns, all right? Campaign could be website traffic, for example, right? And underneath campaigns, you have ad groups. Now, ad groups is underneath website traffic. You can have an ad group for neck pain. You can have another ad group for shoulder surgery patients, or back surgery patients. So you break the website traffic into little pockets that are focused on theme, all right? And underneath those ad groups, there are ads. So for example, we talked about neck pain. We're going to have a few neck pain ads along with some keywords that is going to be matched with those ads, or those ad groups, those ads, to help them show up in Google, right? So the biggest mistake we find with physio practices is they don't follow this structure. They don't have a campaign, ad group, or ad and keyword, or at least they're not very specific about it. They're pretty general, right? It's one of the quickest ways to lose money in your Google Ads campaign, all right? It'll make it unprofitable pretty quickly if you're not specific. So instead of having that one size fits all or having ads that are not specific, really think about, right, the services that you offer and create ad groups specifically for them. That is very, very important. All right. If you don't do that, you're going to, like I mentioned, you're going to be wasting quite a bit of money. So you need to get really, really specific. All right. Again, this is something that we are, very, very forward, and we are very proactive with our clients to make sure to figure out exactly what they help out their new patients with or clients with, and then we narrow it down to exactly, creating those ads and ad groups specific for that audience only. Right? So services is one way of getting specific. Products is another one. Right? For example, you could be selling those massage balls. If you're going to e-commerce store, you want to sell them off, you can have them on there. Or pillows, or whatever your physical products that you're trying to sell, they can be on there. Braces, elbow, knee braces, all that kind of stuff. All right? Suburbs. You can target by suburbs as well. It's very, very important that we can do this. These are the things that we do for our clients, right? So it's very important that you follow this through as well. Because if you're being this specific with your ads and ad groups, what it does is it increases relevance to your new patients. The chance of them seeing a very relevant, appropriate ad for them is very, very high. All right. It's just like saying, I want physio for my neck. All right. There is no ad that comes up for shoulders or knees or just a standard physio ad. All right. You can make it very, very targeted. If they say neck pain, it goes, get your neck sorted out today at blah, blah, blah. All right, you can give them very, very specific ads to put in front of them. So it's a very, very important thing. All right, so that's mistake number 3, not being specific with ads. Now, I hope that helped to really get you honed in and see where you possibly could be going wrong or what could be improved in your Google Ads. If that was useful, head down to our website, which is physiomarketing.co. There are some amazing resources there. There's some videos, there's some demo videos, there's some checklists, there's other articles, etc., all that kind of thing. Head over there, just bounce around. There's lots of content for you to consume and really take your physio practice to that next level of getting new patients. Or if you want to have a quick chat with us, we are also happy with that as well. Call us on 1-800-267-877. We'll be more than happy to help you there. And if you have any questions at all, just email us on info@physiomarketing.co. Or one last thing I'll finish up before I leave is if you have a question or something you're not really sure about when it comes to sales and marketing for your physio practice and you want a specific answer, we'd love to do a video just like this or an episode just like this for you as well. So if you have those questions and what you're wondering about, that things you want to actually get answers to, email us at info@physiomarketing.co, and we'll be more than happy to create just one, an episode like this just for you as well. Thank you very much. Until next time, take care.